Hello, Flosstube. It's Pam, stitching between the lines. Today is Friday, December 1st, 2023. It's a rainy day here in New York. Fortunately, rain, not snow. Not that I hate snow or anything, but yeah, rain. It's been a, it's been a, it's been a month, November. So we are here today to recap November 2023. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. November was such a blur. I didn't get as much stitching done as I normally would, which is maybe a good thing that I got so much done in October. It helps balance out November's craziness. There were bunches of days where I didn't stitch at all for whatever reasons. Busy time, Thanksgiving. We had Thanksgiving with a crowd, and so there's a lot of prep for that. I am still not adjusted to the time change. I think, the older we get, the harder it is to make that adjustment and or accept that I'm not going to sleep as good as I used to, as if I ever slept well. Even as a kid, I wasn't somebody who slept in. I'd be the only person up on Saturday morning when I was young. And, I went through those teen years where you sleep till 11 a.m., but really not after that. And it's not any better now. In fact, I'm up before everybody, most people. My one daughter gets up for work at, I don't know, 5:30, and she says, I always know I can text mom. Which is true. I'm almost always up. I like the quiet early morning, but that doesn't necessarily explain why I'm up then. I don't mind being up then. I'm just not always, I think I need another hour of sleep some days. So anyway, enough about me. This whole video is about me. So November 2023, we celebrated one of my kids' birthdays is in November, so that's always fun. Thanksgiving, what else? The start of winter. Oh, I don't know, all the things. And here we are into December, which is, of course, my favorite. Watching the cat. My favorite month. It's my birthday month. It's Christmas. It's just all the things, all the festivities. Love the holiday season, so I always look forward to it. So anyway, let's move on. No, let's not. Let's circle back to November. This week alone has been quite a week. We woke up Monday morning with no heat. And mind you, we live in New York where it's cold. So we had no heat on Monday morning. So somebody came out and determined there was a part on our furnace that was broken. It's a new furnace. It's only a couple years old. So there's some part not working and they have to order it and don't know when it'll be in. So by the end of the day, we knew that it was coming on a UPS truck on Tuesday and somebody would be out Tuesday whenever that happened, whenever it arrived. So on Tuesday, we knew they'd be coming at 1:30, I guess. So the guy gets out here and he opens the box and the new part in its new box is broken. So it either was broken to start with or got broken in transit. And Tuesday was a day. It was cold. It was windy. We live on a lake and the wind literally just like can suck the warm air out of your house. We very fortunately have some gas fireplaces and we have a couple space heaters, and we could maintain. In our house was like we'd get up in the morning and it'd be like 62, but we could warm it up a bit during the day. And I can take some amount of cold, so I wasn't miserable by any means. And then Wednesday, another new part came, and they came out and fixed it. So we had heat. The house was warmed back up by Wednesday afternoon. So fortunately, that's behind us. And now it's the start of all the Christmas hubbub and activity and family time and things. So I love the whole process of shopping and doing all that kind of stuff. So I don't do like a big Black Friday, go out and I like when the kids were younger, maybe I would a little bit because there were things, that financially it made a difference to be able to get clothes 2 for 1 or whatever at JCPenney, that kind of thing. Now I prefer, and even when the kids were still growing up, Monday after Thanksgiving is my shopping day. A lot of the Black Friday sales are still going on and the mall is empty. I couldn't go this Monday because of the furnace thing. I did go on Tuesday, spent several hours at the mall, um, taking care of some things, but it's a whole process. I can't do it all in one day. So there's like the mall, this time we'll do this. And then the shopping around town on another day and that kind of stuff. So I love the whole like process of it. So we're right in the thick of it. Today, our church, my church does supports a local food pantry and thrift store, and we have done for them for years and years. And it's just in the middle of a very, very poor country area, this little tiny town. It's one of those blips on a map you pass through, and I wonder how it ever became a town. And it has a food pantry that supports the school district my kids grew up in. So not just that town and not just that county, but whatever is in that school district, which encompasses 2 counties. Not the whole thing, but it straddles 2 counties. Let me say that way. So we've always done a lot. So our church has done a lot for them. And this year's we've done it in a couple different ways over the years. But this year we always, for the last several years, we donate personal care items. Personal care items. If anybody is aware of how it works with SNAP benefits or the food, what do they use? Whatever the government food assistance program is. Personal care products are not covered by that, certainly not in New York State. And so if a food pantry has those that they can give a family for free, that is just a boom. If there's just soap and shampoo and things like that. If the food pantry itself goes to Food Link to buy food, which it can get at a discounted price, and they have personal care items, they can spend some of their food dollars. This is the food pantry, can spend some of their food dollars on personal care, but that's not really the best use of their money, so they don't. So our church for the last number of years has taken up a collection around Christmas time of that kind of thing, and I love doing that. So we've added to this year, the food pantry thrift store does a big Christmas program. They've done that as long as I've known of the place, but our church hasn't participated in this way before. Is around town and in the school district, the food pantry used to put Christmas trees in the post office, and they would have tags on there that said, it's like an angel tree, and it would say like a girl's toy age 5 to 6. So then they would gather those new items, and then when they do their Christmas program, parents can go in and shop for their own children for Christmas. And I don't know if they still put them in the post office or not. Some point there was a big brouhaha about how a government agency wasn't allowed to do that, have those trees in there. But I don't live in that specific school district anymore, so I don't go to those post office. I don't see those trees. I used to always pick a couple tags off and go shopping. But anyway, our church has one of those trees. And so I went today. That was my big outing today, was to the store to where I bought a cartload. What I used to be able to, for the same amount of money, really load a cart, still a substantial amount of personal care items and toys for the age range given. My age range was boys, which is a bit harder. I try to generally pick like a teenage, preteen, young teen boy, because they're not the cute toys. So they're always running short on those kinds of things. So it's a challenge. But anyway, that's what I did today. And then I did things around the house, and now I'm making a video because it's December 1st. So here we are. So I did stitch in November. And I had lots of thoughts about what I will stitch this coming December, because while I did WIPCO this year, 2023, I completed all of my WIPCO goals. My last goals numbers called in November was it, because anything that was the last 2 numbers that were available for December are things I'd already completed. So December is a clean slate for me. I'm not doing WIPCO in 2024. I may or may not really touch on those plans this video. We'll see how it goes. So stitching this month, my two whip go calls were my Heaven and Earth design pattern and another pattern that I thought I would finish and did not come close. So let's touch on my whips. Sorry, everything is spread around me. Some of it's on the floor, some of it's over here, some of it's over here in a chair waiting to fall off. My Heaven and Earth design pattern is the Jane Wooster Scott Vibrant Vistas. I've been working on this since probably 2018. I'm going to go with 2018. I worked on it pretty diligently for a while, and then it fell out of favor, and I quit working on it. But it never went into like UFO, like unfinished. It's not going there, not if I can help it. So I have it in a Nurge frame. If I'm really truly done working on it, I'll have to take it out of the Nurge frame so it can rest. I'm going to hold this up just for a second. And then I'm going to get the picture back out. Because this is what you can't see, is I have done the whole first row. This house probably is incorporated into it a little bit, this barn. And, or not. And then most recently, I am working in this quadrant. This is just a page. Right in here is a page. I had been, when I started working on it again a year ago, I worked on finishing all the cobblestones in these silos. Oh, the tedium. And I did a lot of, most recently, of these leaves in the background and then of the roof. So I had hoped to get a page finish in November, but that did not happen. But the tedium of this is so intense. So if I get it to, I think right here is roughly where a page ends. Let me just turn it around and look. No, a page ends way in here. So there's not a lot to do. Look at thread in needle, needle stuck in the next place it's going. What I'm starting to try to park, I'm trying to stay in sort of a column fashion. I cannot bring myself to stitch one X or two X's and then park the thread and then stitch the next and park it, and in that very, very rigid row by row. I'm trying. I'm regretting sometimes that I don't do it like that as I get into these little tight spots that are a real squeeze. I just can't make myself do it. I just can't. I feel like I would spend more time just threading needles than I would stitching. I see, you don't, what looks like a hair on here. It's on my screen. So it's a cat hair. Looked like, you know. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm trying to be more methodical about it, which I kind of am. Like, I'm going with a color just down a column, and then I'll go maybe back up the column with that color instead of encompassing like 3 columns of 10 by 10 boxes. This is 20 by 20, easy grid, 25 count. I'm doing it 3 over 1, a half stitch. That's what I found that I liked the best. Don't love it. I'm not going to pretend I love it. But the coverage is fabulous. The picture is turning out amazing. I just am so enthralled with the Heaven and Earth design patterns, and I look at the book, or I look at the selections, and I could buy one pattern after another, but I know this is at least a 10-year project where I am on this, so I just can't consider more. I'd like to, but there's so many things I like, so I try to keep myself. I have 2 patterns. I bought this one and another one at the same time. This one I could actually rebuy as a PDF once I discovered not Good Reader. Once I discovered that, I bought it as a PDF. The other one I have isn't available anymore. So I might try, I plan, who knows, to try that one, paper version. But we'll see. Maybe I'll have to be a lot more regimented about what I do because I can't. Anyway, let's just not go there. So what I think I can and can't do might be two different things. So then my other piece that was called that I did not get as much done as I thought was Holiday in a Bottle. Holiday in a Bottle by Cute Patterns by Maria. And it's such a cute little pattern, just like the name says, just like the designer's name. But holy tedium. Oh my gosh. The number of colors in there is just mind-blowing. I can't even. I'll show it in a second. But I wanted to just pull out a little corner of the pattern just to show you. Like, just this is the lid on top. Just the amount of stitches and color changes in just like this little corner. There's all the colors and blended colors. So, and then I can't keep my place. I don't know why. This is like the second time I've had to tell you that I'm having a hard time keeping my place. So I don't know what it is. Anyway, here's where I got. Anyway, oops, something fell. Oh, some red. Excuse me, if that was an edit, it's because I sneezed. If I sneezed, I'm sorry. So I got this far, which isn't bad when you consider how much trouble I was having and how many times I had to take things out and how tedious it was and struggling I was just to keep my place. There's a lot of half stitch, the background that's the glass, the jar part. I'm looking around. I don't have one of my little boards handy dandy. It's cute. I like it. I love a tree on top of a car. It's just a lot more involved than I ever dreamed. So, but I'm working. It was my number called and I tried. Oh, I feel things falling already. Didn't I predict that things were going to start falling? I got out a lot of stuff to talk about. It's my other whip is leading the parade. So I showed you this last time. It was a start in October. My friend Kathleen of Kathleen's Trodden Trail led me astray, which is going to be a theme here for a couple projects. Tiny Modernists, 12 Christmas Carols. 12 Christmas Carols. Bought the PDF online. I wanted to study it. Yeah, I wanted to start it the minute I bought it. But when I went to Hobby Lobby, because I needed fabric, they had no fabric. So I couldn't start it till I was back home. So I wasn't home when I went through all that. And I had started the first one. I had the first one done and I think started the second one. And so here we are. I've done all the way across the top. And because I was working with some of the red to make these words, I came down here and started the words in the square below. I love every stitch of this. I just love it. I love how delicate it is, small. This was an involved square. I just love every one. I want to do every one now. So I forced myself to put it away and work on my whip go things. But I will try, I think, in December to do another square. Clearly I believe I won't have any trouble finishing this when I set my mind to it. I'm just sort of rationing it out so it doesn't dominate everything. I don't know who makes these rules, but that's what we're going with. And then also, again, this is Kathleen's influence. She was working on, I love my Yaluka S. She was working on this. It is Mouse with Fir Tree. It's a little Luca S kit. I had to buy it. Myself and my friend Nicole of Buckeye Stitcher, she bought it too. I don't know if she started it. Nicole, did you start it yet? And I just had to start it. It's on a 16 count opalescent that came with the kit. You can see it. It's got a little spark. You can see the little sparkle. This is my needle. So what I have done, I don't like mice, and I say I don't stitch mice, but he's too cute. He's like a little boy. I've done the scarf, and I've done some of the jacket underneath. My mouse isn't going to have a tail, so he looks less mouse-like. So that's where I'm at. He's also quite a pleasure to work on. It's entirely possible I had to get out my highlighter for this one too. I think I get so many interruptions and so many rabbit holes my mind goes down this time of year that yes, there's yellow highlighter on here, that I just can't stay focused. Luca S comes all pre-sorted. This one's Anchor Floss, but I believe Luca S has a line of fibers of her own now that one of these is upside down, that are in patterns, but this one is Anchor Floss. Perfectly fine to work with. All pre-sorted on these cards with the symbols. This one, I had done the pumpkins, and they were all pre-sorted and stuff, but they didn't have like these notches to stick your tails in, so I had like little wonder clips on all of these cards, but I don't need to do that this time. So those were my pieces that I worked on in November. I did get progress, as you could see, just not as much as I thought, partly because I was working on 2 other things that weren't part of my original November plan, but whatever, it's okay. So what else? Let me do this real quick because they're up here. Kathleen, my friend Kathleen Stratton Trail, who was such an influence on me, where I had to buy all kinds of stuff, did a drawing and I won. She did a drawing for stitch cards for some of Be in My Bonnet, Lori Holt's stitch cards, and it was for one of them, and she sent me a second one too, which was very sweet. I don't have any of these, and they're all super cute. And then I forgot to show this last time. A viewer had this and thought of me and asked if she could send it to me. And I said, sure. It was a Crabapple Hill pattern, and I do have one Crabapple Hill pattern that I have completed. Sometimes it hangs here. Let's see about maybe putting that up. Sorry, you probably won't get to see it though. Instead, you get to see my Lori Holt Farm Girl vintage Farm Girl quilt, made with, I think, some of her fabrics, where I just collected fabrics that kind of had that look. But several years ago, when the pattern was new, the Vintage Farm Girl book was new out, she did on her blog every Friday, she did 2 blocks. So you had to have the book, you know, but she just said, this week we're making these 2, and maybe she demoed them or whatever. And I made it right along with her and kept up, and that's a great quilt. Love that quilt. Anyway, back to this quilt. I have a Crabapple Hill done. I have a Crabapple Hill in the works, mostly being ignored, but you never know. Someday I might get that bug to pull that out. I think it has 12 squares, and I'm working on the 3rd one. You never know. I always start out, this is me, I start out with the most complicated, busy ones, so yeah. So pretty. All these reds and whites, a red and white quilt. There's nothing like a red and white quilt. So classic. Okay, so we went down that rabbit hole. Let's go down the purchase things rabbit hole, because all of these other things that are piled over here, not purchases, they're part of my December plans. I think there is another purchase though. Let me think. My planner fell. Oh yes, there was another purchase. So here's how, okay, so we all know how much I love to kit things up. So I bought pennies from the Daily Stitcher on the Daily, I think it's got the in front of it. Yes, thedailystitcher.com. Let's look at it. dailystitcher.com, an online needle workshop. My friend Penny in Maine started, and she designed these project planners. Kitting it up planner. I showed you before when I was kitting something up. So apparently now, instead of I just put in here the things I'd like to kit up next. So, you know, you got to add a little chaos to it and organizing, the ability to organize. So what's in here, you ask? Things that I've shown you before, I believe. This, I don't have a single component of this, the Village Tree, which is a Stony Creek pattern. Caterpillar Crossings, Mystery, Christmas Wonderland. I do not have a picture. I have a lot of pattern pages. Also in here is this one I think I showed you last time called... I was ill-prepared. I didn't know I was going to show you all the details in here. Christmas Village. I bought it online. It's in my last video. Pretty sure I linked it. Bought the PDF. I love a village scene, and if it's the more Charles Dickens-like, the better. I love that you could see activity in those windows. But that's not really what we're here for. We're here for what did I buy? I finally bit the bullet, broke down, did something, bought this Rocking Horse Holiday. And I am going to say, from the fact that I think I need 3 skeins of whatever the color is, tarnished gold must be the horse, 2 skeins of baby spinach are probably the trees, and rummaged through my drawers and found a piece of fabric. Yay! I think this will be just perfect. It's interesting how large of a piece you need for a pattern that doesn't look that giant. Is apparently gigantic. Oh, I'm showing you the little thing. Let me show you the big thing. Artful Offerings, Rocking Horse Holiday. Oh, love that. Love it, love it. Dug through my drawer, found a piece of relic from Picture This Plus, 32 count. And it's an 18 by 26 piece, and that's what that's going to fit on there. I'm sure there'll be a little excess. But it wasn't fitting on a lot of pieces I pulled out, which a lot of things I have are just like a fat quarter. This, I think, started out as a fat half. I used half of it somewhere, part of it. Part of it. Because I've crossed out one number and wrote in another on the dimension. So do not know where I've used that or kitted it up somewhere is more like it. So that's in there, in my book of things to kit up, because, you know, a lot of people get satisfaction out of starting it. Apparently I get satisfaction out of kitting it up. I've not really ever had to analyze that, but I have so many things that are kitted up. But we'll talk about that in a minute. What we're really here for, what inspired me to share my purchases, which I don't always do, is finding this Homeward Bound pattern by Tasha Tudor, artwork by Tasha Tudor, adapted for needlework by the Posey collection. Several years ago, I saw this one. I think everything in my world has a cat hair on it. I found this one, I think on 123 Stitch. It was a kit called the Christmas Heralds. Also artwork by Tasha Tudor. I'm unfamiliar with Tasha Tudor. I don't have any idea. Didn't know her as an artist, but apparently she's done a Night Before Christmas book, which maybe I have. I need to go up in my office and look through my collection. That is one thing I collect, is Night Before Christmas books. I try to get as many different as I can. Different artists, different covers, different, like, I managed to acquire 1 or 2 a year. Sometimes, like in a library book sale, I'll find one. It seems like every household had one a night before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas. My original aspiration was to get the book that I had as a child. It was our family's edition of The Night Before Christmas, which I finally did. I paid a pretty penny for it and found it on Amazon. My mother remembered who the artist was, and I could search it. So I didn't find it in quite the way I had hoped, like in an antique store or something like that. But I do have it. I'll show it. I'll put a picture right here. But at Christmas time, I get out a half dozen or so of them, and I put them on the coffee table or propped up somewhere. I have such some of them are such pretty covers. But apparently Tasha Tudor did artwork in one of those books. And when I looked it up, I managed to see it on Amazon, and it said Amazon gave me notification that I had previously purchased that item. Um, so either I purchased that title or I purchased specifically that edition. So I don't know which it is. I need to go look to see if I have hers. But Tasha Tudor's artwork, when I looked through what it is she was the artist for, The Secret Garden is a book that she did the artwork for. And to me, when I think of The Secret Garden, I think of that specific cover, the one that she did. So maybe that's something that people would be familiar with, her artwork. But for me, I did not know her. This just spoke to me. I feel like this could be a family walking down the street in London. I don't know why. That sort of Charles Dickens Christmas vision is what I go for. So I loved working on this. I started it immediately when I got it. I kept calling them the Heralds, like the family name, but they're heralding Christmas, which is different with the musical spelling. So anyway, I have this. Oh. It just sat down hard. It didn't really fall. And when I saw this, I thought, I needed to purchase that. So I did. It comes with thread. It comes with fabric. I remember having a hard time sorting the thread in the last one. So, anybody who does kits and you have to sort the thread, that's kind of like a chore. But at any rate, I was delighted to find that. I'm not really sure if this is slated for starting anytime soon. Not with the same sort of like, I gotta start it that I felt for the first one. But that's okay. It's a cute piece. It goes with the one I already have. I should probably do it and see if my framer still has that same frame. But I don't know. We'll see. So, what does December bring for me? Because there's no more Whipco for me. December is going to be, first let me say, for the last several years, the rhythm that has worked for me is that I choose one major project and one minor project and work on them for a month. But I'm not going to do that in December. In December, I am going to work on a bunch of stuff. That's my aspiration. Let's see. Probably I will do another one of the squares in the 12 Christmas carols. I might even start that this afternoon, later. What time is it? Yeah, there's time. And then I'd like to put in time on whatever. Let me just think about my whips. I think most any whip that I started in 2023 and only worked on like a day and a half, some little tiny bit of time, I would like to work on in December. So for a couple days, for a lot of days, we'll just see what I feel like. So this was a start that I started, an accidental start. That is something that's what I call a start that I had zero intention on starting. It was sitting here one day and I saw it, and it's my little witch's kettle. I started it, I think, in October and worked on, I think, twice and got that little kettle in there. I think I'd like to do a few more stitches on this. I think what hung me up before was what was the natural next step was this sort of scattered little stitches. They just didn't seem like any fun to do. I'll get it out another time or two and see if I can't get a little bit more of a start, a little more, going on it. And that'll make it easier for picking up. One of the things that's happened at this point is I don't have a lot of small things to pick up and just work on. everything's a major thing. So, not everything, but a lot of things. And I don't really want to talk about 2024 and how my approach will be, but I believe that 2024 will be, at least start out as a very different stitching year for me. We'll see. So it's in a bag I bought online. Sorry, I don't know from who, but it's not quite the right size for a full-size pattern. So that is one thing I hope to work on. So there's a mix here of things I'd like to work on and things I'd like to start. So the other thing, another thing that I started in 2023 and only worked on a few times was self-portrait, a Disney pattern, self-portrait. Love it. Love it, love it. You can still get this one. You can find it online or eBay or whatever. I just saw it on Stash Unloading or one of those the other day. I fear that Walt's face, I'm afraid I have to replace my iron-on transfer that goes here. But we'll see. We'll see what I dare do. Mickey's well underway. My recollection is that I made a mistake in his shorts somewhere. So hopefully I contained it. So I'll work around them and see. He's so cute. It's kind of like the biggest section of stitching. Everything else starts to get more color changes and stuff. But still, I'd like to work on that for a few days. The one year during Mania, I worked on all my whips for 3 days. I don't know how many whips I had. I had more than 10, but any of the whip that was big, I worked on it for 3 days. And then all my smaller ones, I wanted to work on for 1 day. Well, after 3 days and 3 days and 3 days and changing and changing and changing, I was really sick of that. So I didn't follow through fully with working on each of my big projects for 3 days and then little projects for a day. I don't know where it fell apart. But my point being that as I'm doing this and working on a lot of things just for a few days, I'm liable to end up working on something that I just stick with, because that's how it operates. I operate. Another whip, I got this, my daughter gave me this for Mother's Day, and I started it that very day. Star Village by Thistles. And it's on a piece of a limited edition Belfast opalescent 32 count from the label's in there, but the name isn't. Oh, Color and Cotton. So it's opalescent. It's beautiful. It's going to be like a beautiful sky. Ooh, let me look for that needle that's holding it all together. Get that out of there. Probably shouldn't stick it in my mouth and then try to talk to you. So the only thing I have done is the tree that is on and the star. And there's a star. That would be this. This color here is Gentle Arts French Lilac. Pretty sure it's French Lilac. I have been on every website, every shop, everywhere I look. French Lilac doesn't have it. And I'm on the Notify Me on 123 Stitch, and one day they notified me, and by the time I got there to try to order it, it was already gone. So I don't know what the deal with French Lilac is. Why they only they got it, or did it get placed in inventory by accident and they really never had it, because nobody else has it, had it, still has it, anything. Not really sure what the story is there. So I had to go through my stash and just pick a lilac that I thought looked, or a purple kind of color. At this point, I don't know which one it is of all the colors. There are a couple purples in there, whether they're what I picked. Red Plum, Loganberry, Not really sure which one I pulled out thinking I would replace French lilac with. It really shouldn't be something I agonize about because the colors aren't necessarily based in reality for the color of a skyline. Right? It's just cute. I like it. We'll look forward to working on that again. And then let me look and see if there's anything else here that I was actually working on, or if these are all the... Oh, yes, I started this one. I feel like there was another one I started just for a day that I didn't pull out and show you. Teresa Kogut's Land That I Love. I worked on this maybe 2 days, I don't know. This is where this is the first time I worked on a piece of 20 count Ada and discovered how much I liked it. I can see it so much better than a 40 count. And I got all the strawberries across the center done. I thought that I would put it away after, let me get it, after getting the blossoms done too, but I didn't, because probably it was time to get back to some other Whip Go project. So that one should get a couple days. Again, there's no holding me to it because sometimes I don't enjoy the changing of so many patterns. I enjoy seeing meaningful progress on things. So the rest of what I'm going to show you, just looking at my surroundings, are things that I'd like to start in December. Will I get to them all? No. My one objective was to start some of the things that I keep dreaming about, and to start some small things, and just to start some things. I have 10 whips, maybe 11 at this point in time. And that's not a lot of whips, and some of them are very substantial, and I'm not going to get them done anytime soon. So I just need a little bit more going on in the rotation. So I tried picking from, I have a bin of whips. No, take that back. A bin of kitted up project bags. I have a shelf on a bookcase with a dozen and a half project bags of kitted up things. So I was trying to pick things that were kitted, not specifically kits, although I could convince myself that I should start a kit. But I just did start the mouse with the fir tree. So I went through those two and I pulled out several things I'd like to start. And then I saw the bin. Last spring I went through all my patterns and I pulled out things that I really thought would be a good thing to start, and I started several of them throughout the last 2/3 of 2023. I walked by it, it doesn't have a top on it, so I keep seeing stuff in there. And anyway, I thumbed through and I pulled out a few things from there. There were in there a couple things that weren't kitted that I pulled out just in case they needed started too. So I kit things up, and then I move on and start things that weren't even part of that. So I was trying to focus on what's kitted. So I can show you some things, and then I'm going to have to reach down on the floor where that pile went. So in my kitted up collection was this piece, and I actually have an idea of how a way to finish this, but I need to actually get it out of the wrapper and see how big it is, and see if it really has what I want. See if I can do with it what I'm thinking. But it's such a cute little thing, and 'tis the season for this kind of piece. This is a new one that's not kitted up, but hello, how easy. All Is Calm by October House Fiber Arts. So cute. Love that pink. This one is a pattern I got a number of years ago. Oh, I got it in Stitchville, which means I got it in 2017. And I still think about this one, think about starting it. It's just so unusual and such a fun Carriage House samplings. It is such a fun. It just says this season to me, like what it is. You're like on a racing sled downhill towards your deadline, and swirling around you are all these things that you need to think about and do and whatever. Love it. So it's just DMC threads. So it's entirely possible I can go through my boxes of DMC and pick out everything, maybe. And maybe I could pull another piece of fabric out of my drawer. I'm patting myself on the back, as you could see earlier, for having a piece in my drawer for, what did I show you? Such a memory loss, right? Oh, that rocking horse one. I pulled out one fabric. I put 6 new pieces in. So, oh gosh, golly gee. I'm pretty sure I'd have something. I also ran across this. Love a Crochet a Go-Go pattern. Let's get it out of the bag. It has all the things. Fabric and threads. Which I love it. I love that. I love that. I could stitch Christmas all year. I don't need to stitch in the season. I just enjoy Christmas the most, no matter the time of year. And then this one, I described 2 places I have kitted up projects. I have a wardrobe. Oh, Lord have mercy. I cannot even believe. I have a wardrobe in my sewing room. And I have the hanging dowel across the top. You can't see me. I'm pointing at the picture. I have the hanging dowel. This goes with our bedroom furniture. We don't need or have room for it. So I put the hanging dowel in there. We used to keep like the TV on the top shelf. And I bought these hangers a few months back. Talked to you about this. And I have lots of things hung in there. Well, a lot of things aren't whips. They're kitted things and not actually whips yet. So I bought this from one of the limited edition TTP. What do I want to say? Twin Peak Primitives limited edition. It is so cute. I love it. Winter Cheers. So it came with the bag with the picture on it and the pattern. Sorry. I'm not deplasticking everything. We just saw the picture on the bag. Looks nicer anyway. And there's fabric and there's floss in here. TTP Limited was an Etsy shop, and then it became a website, I think. And every now and again they kit something up and just offer it as a limited edition. I purchased another one. This was the first one I got though, so it's time to get it out. I love a floss drops. They come with the floss drops. They came with the floss drops, but I had to write the number on there. So really, if you didn't want to use it for this particular pattern, you didn't have to. Although, those are all put on there so darn perfect. Maybe they were on there. That's my handwriting, though, for what it is. So maybe these came on something else, and I transferred them over. And then, love a good bit of needle bling. It's, oh, I think I made this. So I don't think this came with it. I think I made it. That looks like a picture that I cut out and made one of those thingamajiggers with. But at any rate, it came with nice stuff, ready to go in a project bag, or with a project bag. So those are some of them. Excuse me while I reach for the rest. I can't even imagine that I'll be able to start all these things. This was also in my box of things kitted. And it's got the silk. Come on, what am I doing? Why is this just languishing? And also, this, I think about this one occasionally too. To see if I can find you a better picture. It's a whole bunch of patterns and you can do them all together on one. It's a Kris Kringle market. And let me get it up close. It comes with all of these and then the top. and you can do them on one, or you could do them all separate. It's so very reminiscent of when we went on our riverboat cruise to the Christmas markets in Germany and Austria. I'm not a gnome fan, not at all. It's possible that won't be there, or I'll find some other way to modify that. Oh, it was a mystery, no less. I bet I got it in a monthly installment. Oh, and there's a lot of gnomes. Oh dear. This is the heading. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. This one doesn't have any. How I will modify that, because, like I said, I'm not a gnome fan. Oh, I'm not seeing a lot of them. In the heading, in that one had it, and the rest don't seem to. That would be good, because I could just take them out of the ones that have them. A lot of them just have a tree and maybe a light post. We'll see. And I've got the piece of Weeks gingham. To do it on. I think about that one. So these are the patterns, like, when I think about, like, oh, I should really start that Kris Kindle market. I also have a number of these. Some kitted up. Pretty much all, ooh, yeah, kitted up. Talk about kitted up. Madame Lafie, the Beach. Let me see the name. It's just, I think, the Beach. I feel like the at 200 meters is something in the name because of the quotes. Oh. That sign tells you that the beach is 200 meters away, so it probably is somewhere in the title. I love that. I just love it. I love it, love it. And you know her pieces aren't small. But look, this is how kitted up I am. Bobbinated in a floss box with a nice piece of white even weave. It looks yellow, but it's white, trust me. Don't trust me. I think it might be like antique white or something, but not as yellow as I'm seeing it on the camera, on the screen. Love to have another Madame Lafie going. Madame Lafie. And what else do I have over here? Oh, this isn't the one I thought it was when I pulled it out. It's a Sarah G. The Christmas window too. This one has possibilities because it's not as huge as the piece I thought I pulled out. And I have that, like, petty point, whatever they call this fabric, to do it on. Let's see what my paper says. Nothing. The paper told me I needed a color, but look, whoops, that's the color I needed. Bobbinated in a box. Did I show you this? Am I losing my mind? I showed you this, right? I did. It's on the chair, not dropped on the floor like everything else. This one I just ran across and thought, ooh, I could do that one too, because it's pretty. The border's a killer, I know. I have to see how big it is. I don't think it's all that gigantic, but there's fabric and floss in the bag, in the project bag, ready to go. And finally, the last one that I sometimes think about is my soda stitch. I've watched Brenda, Handwork Maniac, and she did a whole different soda stitch, but it made me go look for them online to see. And I loved this flower garden. I love it. It's the kind of thing that makes me think of like a sketch, a journal, a scrapbook page. It's so pretty. Do I have fabric in here? Yep. And surprise, another project box. So What will I start in December? I'm not taking votes. You'll just have to come back January 1st or some thereabouts to see. Yay. A lot will happen in December. December's a big month. Yeah. So hopefully a lot of stitching because it's starting to be winter. But there's a lot to do. We always host a Christmas event at our house with our friends that stay in the area for the winter and don't head south, although the one couple will head south. My husband's going on a golfing outing that I think is like, he's gone for like 4 days, maybe 5. I don't even know. I have to confirm that. So, because he'll go to work like on one day, and then because he's leaving so early the next morning, he'll stay close to the airport and leave. So that day he's at work, and then the next day he's gone, and then the weekend he's gone, and I don't know what day he comes back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to like serious binge watching of I don't know what yet and stitching. We'll see. Probably it'll be like Christmas cookie baking day or something. I think that same weekend I'm watching my daughter's cat. So sometimes my cat and her cat need a lot of supervision. Sometimes not, but sometimes yes. And I feel like something else is happening. Oh, I think my Quilt Guild sewing day is on that weekend, which means I pack up all my machine sewing kind of stuff and haul it over to where we have our Quilt Guild. So my Quilt Guild I've talked about before. I'm on the program committee, and this is my second year. We do 2-year terms, and they follow the school year. And I will not be able to attend the meetings after this December meeting. So I have hit it hard, and the committee in general hit it hard last year and this year because we really slowed way down because of COVID and not holding meetings and not a lot of attendance at meetings, and people were starting to really sort of lose interest. So we came on strong. So I have done a lot for that. And my final presentation, my final responsibilities are Monday night at the Monday night meeting. I have a wagon, it folds up kind of like a pack and play folds up. That child's bed, and it collapses all down, and then you take the board out of the bottom and it wraps all around. I have a wagon like that, and I use it when I go like on a sewing retreat. I can actually fill it up, and it's usually filled with like enough sewing supplies and whatnot. I can actually lift it up. It's a full-size wagon, like you'd pull 2 children in. I can lift it up and put it in my van. And so it is full to the brim with stuff for Monday's meeting. My presentation's almost done. I got to do the handout, but I am just so tired of that whole thing. It's just, after a while, I try to make every project that the committee wants people to make. I try to have, when I'm doing a demonstration and it's a multi-month, every single month I have the phases done. I have usually more than one of the final results because I've had one done to show them, and then I needed one in the works to show them. And it's we've had a great response and a great turnout and great participation. So I'm not complaining. I'm just burned out already. But I also, knowing I wasn't going to be here for the second half of the year, worked hard on things the first part of the year. So we're having our Christmas party on Monday night and all that. And I just like, whew, I'm just getting getting through it. We host, like I said, we host something at our house for our friends. And this year, of course, we're going over the top just because it sounded like a good idea at the time. We're doing that, and we got a birthday, and then we host Christmas, and we do Christmas cookies, a whole decorating Christmas Eve. That's our Christmas Eve day activity that's hung on since the kids were really little, is that we decorate cookies, but now we have a lot. Our skills are more elaborate, so it's more elaborate of a process. And we decorate gingerbread houses. We usually do those. That used to be our Black Friday activity after Thanksgiving, but everybody's lives are a little bit more chaotic. And so last year we had to do it at a different time. And this year, I think we're doing it tomorrow. that's the plan. And if we can't get to it tomorrow, it'll be like Christmas Eve day. It's just fun. We just have fun. Bring out our, try to put on our creative thinking hat and have a good time with it. And what else? Then Christmas. And then next year I'll be here. So the house is mostly decorated. I really do it up. Okay, if you watch Priscilla and Chelsea, I don't do it up at all. But for the average person in the average house, I do it up. I have 3 trees. The big giant one's not up all the way because that's the one the kids come home and help decorate. We had to give up getting a real tree a few years ago. Long story. So I bought a really narrow one, but it's 10 feet tall. It's so much fun. And it just looks glorious. But the minute Christmas is over, like the minute, I am ready to take it down. All of it. I'm ready for it all to be taken down. So that's usually between Christmas and New Year's I do that. And then it'll be the new year. And then we'll talk about that at the end of December, what is very new and different next year. But it's good. Something to look forward to. And yeah. So there we go. It's December. This could very well be my last 2023 video, unless I make the December one before January 1st rolls around. Never know. We'll see what happens. Just never know. So I hope everybody's having a fabulous end of November, early December. And if you celebrate the holidays, I really hope you're having a joyful time. I know it can be hard sometimes. Unfortunate, I have my family out, my kids all around, and we enjoy the Christmas, what traditions we have established in our family. We enjoy carrying on. I know that at some point in time, all my children won't come home for Christmas morning. I get that. But right now they are, and right now I'm enjoying it. So, taking it all in every year that it goes on like that. And soon enough, Grandma and Grandpa will be the people who travel from house to house, which is fine. It's fine. We can do that too. So happy December, everybody. See you soon.